Andy Dick
Oh.
has been arrested again. Yeah. Go ahead. Ask the question that I'm watching form in your face. Go ahead.
Did he get like way too inebriated? People push him into doing stuff again?
Public intoxication, failure to register as a sex offender. Yes. So,
God, that's got to be a weird one to have to
he didn't do the thing he was supposed to do right when he got out of jail like a couple of weeks ago. He was drunk in public again. And guess who was there to film the whole fucking thing because she loves him so much and cares about him?
Oh, God, no.
Botter's good buddy, the woman who had nothing but nice things to say about a child pornographer and swatter, Botter, a 14-year-old who was arrested for doing all that shit to ourselves and Noodles. Remember when Elisa said, I like Botter? Elisa Jordana, I just want to say this about Elisa. Elisa has stated in the past that she likes a child pornographer. Has she not said that?
She did say she likes
She has that is not an actionable thing I'm saying. That is a fact that is backed up by her own words. Elisa Jordana is likes a person who is a child pornographer. In fact, has shielded them from criticism, would not ban them. Oh, and by the way, kid, make sure that this gets to Elisa's Discord and everything. Make sure you clip this and you send it to her. We're going to be watching for that kid to make sure he doesn't violate any terms of his sentence, to make sure that he's not on any kind of internet or doing anything to anyone. We are going to hold that fucking monster's feet to the fire on absolutely everything. We got him once. We'll get him again. I'm not going to let him do that to anybody else. Ever, ever, ever. And it just goes to show that, a lot of people, they get harassed by people on the internet and they just kind of give up and go, well, this is just my fate. This is how it is. I'm here to tell you, it does not take very long in the long run to just if you just stick with it, they'll find the guy, they'll arrest the guy. It's actually a pretty smooth process. Lemmy says, we are the watchers. Yeah, if that little boy behaves himself and he serves his time and whatever, fine. If there's one step out of line, we're going to be there to report it. We're going to find out who the parole officer is or the probation officer. We're going to figure out who the detective is who handles the thing. And we're going to let them know, hey, this person's not supposed to be using the internet. They're not supposed to be doing this, not supposed to be doing that. Go talk to them. And so if all this behavior stops, fine, water under the bridge. But if it doesn't, as Lemmy says, we'll be the watcher. Could you premiere a clip of when Botter got caught? That would be last Tuesday. It's on the members only show, Our Call with David Baldo. That's on there. So if you want to become a member, you can go check that out or become a patron. Patreon.com/Steel Toe That's on there as well. He's severely mentally ill if he's simping for Elisa. Yeah, if you're simping for Elisa Jordana, you got mental problems as it is. But she was streaming with Andy Dick when he got out of jail.
And this is beautiful because we had that clip of her last week that we were doing, didn't we? Where she had...
had Aaliyah Stern or whatever her name
whatever.
was.
The other ex-boyfriend's ex.
Of Benji, yeah. And then she just went nuts.
If you think if you think I'm a climber, she's a climber.
Yeah. You think you call me a climber, Andy? She's a climber. She's just using people like I am. She had a meltdown and it's on our channel. Elisa had a meltdown where she admitted everything she is, and it was
beautiful.
Perfect. It was like that scene in a movie where a guy's got this evil plan, and then it all breaks down at the end because he just shouts it to everybody. It was beautiful. Well, Andy Dick has now been arrested on 2 more charges. And, of course, it's drinking related. And, of course, I'm sure that succubus monster, Elisa Jordana, was not doing anything to make sure he wasn't drinking or to make sure he wasn't misbehaving. I'm sure he was using him for content once again. Andy was arrested early Friday morning in Lake Elsinore, California, after sheriff's deputies say they got a call about an intoxicated person. Law enforcement says when deputies arrived, Andy was showing signs of being drunk. What?
That's never happened.
And he was arrested without incident. Sheriffs say they checked Andy's records during the arrest and determined he was a registered sex offender who was not up to date on his registration. So he got dinged for that too. Andy was ultimately booked into a detention center on 2 charges, being under the influence in public and failing to register as a sex offender. The sheriff's department says they are still investigating. It's his second arrest in 8 months.
Oh, wow. He's doing great.
And he spent 2 months in jail. So,
I mean, if you care for Andy at a certain point, you just are like, hey, man, how about you just stop with the drinking and the stuff? No.
yeah.
It's not going well.
It's not, yeah, it's going horribly for you. You're in rough shape. The problem is, like a lot of addicts, he surrounds himself with horrible people.
Who enable him.
I mean, Elisa Jordana, you talk about being a climber. I mean, this woman is can you climb over a corpse? Because she'd do it. She would climb over a corpse 100%. I mean, this is just I can't say it enough anymore. This is a really bad, sick, disgusting human. I mean, she should be a hologram. She shouldn't exist as a human being. This isn't someone who should, there shouldn't be enough genetic makeup of garbage to be able to form in Elisa Jordana. Her face is rotting because of how evil of a person she is. It's like when a villain in a Disney movie has to look in the mirror and then their face starts melting. She's starting to look like the evil she is. She has no discernible skill. She has no job. She has no ability. She's been kicked out of everything she's tried to grift onto. She tried to grift into the Howard Stern world. Howard dismissed her and said, she sucks. She's awful. Benji, she's working you. She's using you, so on and so forth. So then she moved down the ladder even further to Andy Dick, who she doesn't love. She doesn't give a shit about. She sold him out to a live streaming organization. She pimped out the man she loves to a guy who put him on an air mattress on the ground and kept him loaded and then put a camera on him and stole his money.
And got him arrested.
Yes. Elisa and this other guy took super chats and took donations because of the content Andy was providing, gave him nothing, and then said, well, he smokes weed and drinks booze, so we're just taking that money and putting it towards replenishing that. Pieces of shit.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys were really making that bank without him.
Right, exactly. So now Andy Dick gets out of jail, and who's there to grift onto him? Who's there to try and not pick up the pieces and help her man? It's comical, by the way. Get better. Who's there to immediately put him on a stream and start using him for donations? Elisa Jordana. And it's wonderful to see how much of the internet realizes what a piece of shit this woman is. Mandy Statmiller, who's been involved in, I don't know, I don't want to say porn industry, but she's covered the sex industry. There you go. She's covered the sex industry.
Okay.
For a long time, Mandy Statmiller. And she wrote about Elisa Jordana on Twitter and then attached a clip that we're going to watch here. She says, writing about Andy Dick as he was arrested today. I wrote about him groping and biting me in Unwifeable, but have never done a deep dive on the guy. Here he is 2 weeks ago with his nauseatingly parasitic fiancee streamer. And by the way, there's no more satisfying word to call Elisa Jordana than parasitic. Because she is. She's less than human. She's a parasite.
She doesn't give anything back. I'd like to find out she's a robot, because then I could be like, oh, thank God. I didn't think you had a soul, but I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, I mean, parasite's the perfect word. She attaches herself to a host, provides nothing of benefit to the host.
Sucks them dry,
and then goes and finds the next one. Unless you're like Benji, and you shook this woman off like a bad case of fleas.
Well, Benji had help.
Right. Howard was like, I'm
going
going
to just show you what a whore this is.
I'm going to continue shitting on you until you get rid of this money-grubbing, gold-digging sack of shit. So now she's in her 40s. She's IRL streaming. It's fucking over. It's a bunch of botters and mentally ill people that are watching her and giving her a buck or two here and there. And she's still, like, her last play. You can tell this is her last play in life, because if it wasn't her last play, she would have left Andy Dick on the side of the road a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But her last play left is this sad, shitty IP2 streaming world, which, I mean, it'd be more honorable if you dealt meth. Honestly, if you were dealing meth at a middle school, you would have a more honorable job than IRL streamer like Elisa.
Is she actually successful at this? I mean, that's the thing that I'm always wondering about. Like, how is she paying for her career if her career isn't making money? Because she goes to the Andy Dick well. It's pretty... She goes to the Andy Dick well.
Which miraculously, how is it not run dry?
Yeah, just chafing everywhere. But it's weird because, like, when she was talking with the other lady, the minute somebody, like, started, like, oh, I'm going to talk to Andy Dick, like, oh, how dare you? Like, she gets super protective of him.
Yeah.
But again, this shit happens, and you're never like, hey, you know, as someone who cares about you, I think we should have a hard conversation about you and controlling alcohol.
Have another, my loving man. You know, that's where she's at this point. Andy Dick's got to go, you know, darling, I think it's time we renegotiate the terms of our relationship. I'm a good man to you, Andy, aren't I? You might be the devil.
You might be the Antichrist.
You might be the Antichrist, yeah. So she continues to be parasitic off of Andy Dick, and every time he goes to jail and he gets more and more fucked up, she's there to be like, I'm so sad about Andy, and I love Andy. And then Andy gets back, and she's like, have some more booze, you fuck up. Here you go. Oh, the more fucked up he gets, the more people will watch my stream, and they'll send me money and play songs so I can sing into my Sharper Image karaoke mic. You vapid, deep, empty well of twatitude. All right, let's watch this.
Twatitude's a cool word.
Piece of trash. Thank you very much.
Well, you know what's worse? Trying to get the fucking phone. I didn't have a phone myself. I'd have to yell down the
This is another thing about this IP2 shit. Stop with the fucking music. I get it. You want the donations and everything else, and you don't provide content like we do. So you got to, like, give people little quirky things they can do so that you can take your money from them for just sitting outside a building talking nonsense. But enough with the fucking music. We can't hear what your guest is saying. We can't hear what you're saying. And most of the time, that would be a gift from God. But I want to make fun of you. And you're playing music while I want to shit on your existence.
How many bracelets do you need?
I mean, to cover up the hole where her soul was ripped out in the deal she made with Satan so that her face would have 3 more years of not melting.
I don't think that...
It's an elaborate answer, but it's the best one I could come up with.
I mean... Is she getting the full 3 years? I feel like we're getting wax candle syndrome already.
Look, Satan didn't say he wouldn't make her limp to the finish line.
all, because I could see it pushed around on the wheels.
Yeah.
I'd be like, can I get... I'd have to yell out my vent at the bottom of the door.
I don't want to get popped for fucking...
But I could talk to... other...
She's not, like, looking at him at all. She's looking at her camera.
She'll glance at him vaguely.
Jesus Christ, this...
You know what's really awesome when you have a conversation away from the camera and microphone?
Yeah.
Moving around is a good idea.
There we go.
Myself, I don't think moving around is a good idea.
No.
And moving around sounds like a bad idea.
Sent $5 hey.
Oh, let's see. This is someone who's going to try and out Elisa to Andy. And let's see if she loses her shit about it.
Andy,
Well, we're
Elisa
very
was talking
protected up
mad
here.
shit about you
No, I
while you
wasn't.
were locked up.
No, I wasn't.
Don't trust the witch.
This
I've
guy
got the
hates
boys
I don't
ready.
trust anybody, so
Call
don't
me
worry
when you're
about
ready.
It's fun to see her.
Oh, there. And then Dancing Queen from ABBA, and she's going to dance and shit.
You know, this was like a little sad for Britney Spears. It's worse for Eliza because she's like dancing and shaking for the money.
Right.
Like Britney was just doing it because that's how she understands the world.
Why doesn't Elisa Jordana just become a stripper? Like, it would be more honorable.
Because then she has to pretend to like people, like up close and in person.
I guess. But, like, it would be, like, if she would just be an aging old stripper out in some small town in the middle of nowhere, it would be a more honorable way to make a living.
And
than
there's
what
a
she does
decent
now.
chance she'd be the hot one if she goes to the right market.
Elisa Jordana, if she went to like Nebraska and became a stripper, like New York, she probably couldn't pass at a strip club in New York or Las Vegas. But if she went to like Nebraska, she could probably get a job at a strip club and make a reasonable amount of money. She could probably do pretty well there. But I guess she's, going to ride the Andy Dick train for whatever it's worth. Killer Beehive says there was an episode of Drunken Peasants where they played a clip of her saying she's leaving because she's getting disrespected. Oh, I love watching Elisa Jordana get disrespected. Hold on a second. Drunken Peasants, Elisa Jordana. Kanye West walks out, talks about DDoS attack against her on Drunken Peasants 5 months ago. Benji got fingered. If you have a clip of it and you want to send it to me,
send it over.
I'd love to have it. That would be great. But yeah, Andy Dick got arrested again. She's still streaming with the guy. And again, when he gets out, she'll be back. He'll go back on the streams because she'll promise him all kinds of shit. It won't come true. And he'll continue to fall into this this loop that he's become accustomed to. So, she just continues to be parasitic. She continues to be trash, continues to be garbage. But again, at what point do you also have to hold Andy Dick accountable?
Yeah, I mean, you know what she is. It's not like she's changing.
Yeah. So the whole Andy Dick, Elisa Jordana thing, it's just, it seems like there's only one way out that Andy's going to be taking. But honestly, I'll give him this credit. We've been saying that he's going to, that's going to be the way out for Andy for like, 15 years now?
Yeah. I don't know how much lower he could go.
At least since the 2010s, we've been predicting like, this year's the year.
He's
Andy
got
Dick
too much
is
of a
done.
substance thing.
No. Maybe he's gotten to that point where like the substances
are holding him together.
Yeah, like he put so much in his body and he didn't die. So now it's holding him up. Like Andy Dick's one of those guys where he's going to, well, he won't, but where if he quits everything, he'll die.
We got him clean and he died. Yeah. It's because the cocaine was the only thing keeping him going.
You don't understand. He's 97% cancer cells. So if you radiation and chemo away all the cancer cells, he'll die. He won't have any cells left. Andy Dick, Earl Skakel in the chat. Comedian Earl Skakel says, Andy Dick got banned from the Comedy Store for touching my dick and licking my face. We may have got banned from the Comedy Store, Earl, but did you tip him? That's the only thing I want to know.
I want to know if he cupped the balls.
Yeah, I just want to know if he's a gentleman. And if you are too, that's all.
Does he have the follow through?
Yes. Brown Candy says, Sugar Daddy's is open again. I'd pay $10 to see that grilled cheese. Yeah, see, Elisa Jordana could become a stripper in St. Cloud.
Yeah. Can't do Bach, though. She wouldn't be good enough for there.
No, she should never do Fat Jacks in Bach. She wouldn't be welcome. Earl Skakel says it was a full grab. Well, we got the whole schwanz, huh? I mean, if I check my list of wacky shit Andy Dick does, that does check out. So
that's weird. I actually I have a former in-law that had a similar story with Andy Dick.
Really?
Yeah, because he's out in LA. He's trying to do commercials and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess back in around 2006 or 7, I think. He met Andy Dick, and I guess Andy Dick kind of groped him.
Kind of groped him. Again, that's pretty good behavior for Andy Dick. Kind of groped. Because usually it's just full on, give me that cock.
Yeah.
With Andy Dick. 125 away from today's goal. There's the Streamlabs and the PayPal. Also, Super Chats and memberships available. If you'd like to contribute to this listener-supported show, if we hit that number, we go until 10:30. We do a 4.5-hour show instead of a 4-hour show. So thank you guys very much. Also, go to eventbrite.com and get your tickets for this Saturday's comedy show. Eventbrite.com, Steel Toe Comedy Show at Partners Pub in Sartell this Saturday night. Salvatore M. says, Earl immediately made a Tom Platz reference after being groped. Nobody got it or laughed. Oh, son of a bitch. Earl says, welcome to Hollywood, I guess, boys. Yeah. I mean, actually, I think that for a while there,
that was kind of the hello.
That was the hello in Hollywood. Andy Dick would just grab your cock, and then you'd know. You're like, oh, I think I'm going to get a TV show soon.
Yeah, or it was Kevin Spacey, but only if he was drunk and gay.
Yeah, it was a good omen. It was a good omen for your comedy career if Andy Dick grabbed your cock. It was a good omen for your acting career if Kevin Spacey grabbed your cock. And then for your music career, I don't know, George Michael sees you pissing in a bathroom. Maybe that's good for your music career. I don't really know what the telltale
Just
sign
looking
was.
at me, and I could tell he's thinking, "That's a nice dick."
That's a nice dick. People are running after Andy Dick getting out of comedy clubs. Like, what, was I not funny, Andy? You never grabbed my cock.